Built by Keith, number 1200. This is the most famous video of all time, showing how Evote.one reverses the course of the Lucifer worshippers. It's all based upon we pick the project, we pick every leader in the world. This is the site of a $40 billion robbery. Again, January 18th, 2025, number 1201, built by Keith. This is the original crime scene of a $40 billion robbery of Fortune1.org that was registered as creatorkeith.com, and the original was way back as built by Keith. 6326 Brandywine Trail, Norcross, which is now Peachtree Corners, Georgia. The whole focus was nobody has ever represented my life. No one's ever protected my constitutional rights. So we're now going to be the wealthiest person in the world, giving everything back to we, God's people. GodsConstitution.org, also named a solution manifesto for.com for those people that don't like the word God and object to all these pronouns that are swirling around. No more wars, only local privately held companies, and only local banks using solutionbankfraud.com and our database FOIA.ONE, everything centered on Evote.one. And of course, reinvestall.com, which is really the profitshareholders.com are now you. If you own it, you pay for it, you build it, you have every right to choose who the leader is as a highly paid project manager using the old clan tribal method, which is actually modeled after Miss Universe pageant when I was in the Philippines. Yes, I'm a world traveler. I need protection today. I need a direct conversation with Brian Kemp, the local governor, and all the mayors, police chiefs, corporate executives. In fact, the whole world will now use peacesummit2025.com. Because everything was destroyed by the Duncan clan from October 3rd, 2011 forward, this was also a crime scene. Sherry Duncan, Kyle Duncan, Matthew Duncan, and the whole family decided I should be drugged. A single person, a single judge, a single DA, a single attorney general, a single doctor could determine that I must be forcibly drugged. So I had already written and published the world's last How to Reverse Any Addiction, 5steps.life, and solutiondrugs.com that describes how the USA government is 100% responsible and committing so many crimes at an individual level, so I sued everybody. DuncanClaim.org, I even sued my own insurance companies. And at this point, we're asking for Brian Kemp, Governor Brian Kemp, to contact us directly and debrief us and dispatch the GBI, the FBI, the Attorney General, and the IRS to investigate every single person that's involved in Norfolk, Virginia 411 CR 112 that goes all the way back to Marietta Police Department Report 1.11.2506. You see, very few people have photographic memory. And this is one of the key answers compiled down for 40, 50 years is reinvestall.com. And the entire system is UNIocracy.org, and it's Evote with a period, O-N-E, direct democracy, real time. The people decide everything about everyone else. That means no more stock market, no more wars. Every community stands on its own 2 feet, and my group is here to host, mediate, and to educate everyone how to run a small business with teammoneymachine.com through the churches and civic groups, in case I don't survive much longer, because there's always that possibility that the criminals will find me, Robert D. Rose, Douglas Vernon Duncan, my own brother, and anybody else who doesn't want to be in the utopia, crime-free, debt-free, drama-free, UNIocracy.org world that I created personally, because that's why God sent me here 66.4 years ago. On August the 15th, 1958. This is, again, 1201 on exactly January the 18th, 2025. 17 years later, after Robert D. Rose decided to kill me and my family. We were already living in this house in 1996, which is the connection of Peachtree Corners Baptist Church, and the entire neighborhood knew me. I'm the only person who kept records of everybody, so that if we had a problem, people could reach out and connect, which is what's called the definition of a good neighbor, the Golden Rule, and the Great Commission. 1201, built by Keith. This also was one of the worst crime scenes. Peachtree Corners Baptist Church, Norcross, Georgia. I lived here from 1996 all the way to the point when I was kidnapped. When I made all the call outs and letters like Apostle Paul, I was never heard back. Never heard back, based on a 2-line email that I never sent and a video that I never gave the court. I never gave Robert D. Rose, but the court never showed it. Those two things were a $500 bond. In fact, it was a no bond for 5 months, violating 30-month violation, speedy trial. And then it got worse, a cancel restraining order that I've repeated for now, it's 14 years. Cobb County canceled TPO, which means dismissed, 11.1.1171, July 15th, by Cobb County District Attorney Patrick Head, Grady Moore, and my own lawyer, Barry Victor Reynolds. So therefore, there was no legal, any reason. There was no reason to have me kidnapped. October 3rd, 2011, when I was forced into hell 848 days, which is $5,000 per day. And the USA government is always paid. We pay them to protect victims of organized criminals. I don't like to use the word victim, but I'm 100% victimized by my own family. This is the old prayer tower. My money actually built a majority of this church because, including the rec center, this building number B, and this is Jay Hackett is the pastor, and Dr. David Shaw New, along with Harvey Snyder and all my deacon buddies, and they did nothing except, we're not interested that you're a victim of organized criminals. We're only interested in preaching the gospel. Well, excuse me, they're not preaching it. Well, they might be preaching it, but they're not fulfilling GodsConstitution.org. Everyone has stolen literally $40 billion of Fortune1.org, which is a record number for someone who spent his whole life working with God, solving every major problem in the world. Name the problem. We have done the can I say unforgivable? No, we have done the exact, impeccable, most trusted, integrity, ethical method of unifying the world with Evote.one. ChristDomain.org is a $50 million seed fund. There'll be much more after that, to pay any church to do outreach ministry, which I'm happy to do on Sunday, Martin Luther King work day at my primary church. Anybody can call anybody at this point and understand that we were the wealthiest person in world history. I feel so much like Monk and King Solomon and Jesus Christ of being persecuted like Job. You go read Job 49-14, and you'll see what happened to me was that my entire family decided to, well, the old phrase is screw the pooch. They knew I was worth $40 billion. They knew I was worth at least $50 million, but my cash was only $1.2 million, so they cleaned out my bank accounts, sold off my cars, particularly my computers, my patents, my lifetime 50 years worth of work from 1972 forward. Just call us direct. Protect our lives, because we've been asking the USA government, the churches, and the corporations to protect our lives. In fact, we even met Richard Kirby today. His wife, of all people, Robin Kirby, well, we went to her as a psychologist because we had a most difficult time dealing with our ex-wife, Sherry Duncan, who ordered that we be killed. I'm just using the absolute words, and everyone's also sensitive to the words cybercrime, terrorism, enemies of the state, politics, wars. They don't want to hear a damn thing except, oh, I got my money, I got my paycheck, hand-to-mouth syndrome. That's why greed is the #1 problem around the world. We've reversed it with 5steps.life and Evote.one, with an open public database that's very unique, FOIA.ONE, which is a singular top database in the entire world. Think of this as at the top up here, that connects to all the other databases of the world. This is the prayer tower, where I spent so much time as a deacon from 1996 forward, teaching the world that This is, we're going to replace every known violator of God's Constitution once and forever and actually live in only middle class. No one's allowed to go in debt. Well, that's reinvestall.com, and the end result has always been futurecity.life. Who doesn't want to live in a country club environment? Across the street was the YMCA that we helped build. In fact, I paid to help build the ballpark across here, recreation. Don't need to say any more except protect my life. And the first lowest hanging fruit is $4.2 million of insurance policies. Hartford, Genworth, Progressive, and Nationwide, because every time I file the documents, DuncanClaim.org, I'm told 6 months later or longer, oh, we deny your claim. We can't determine that you ever lived, that you ever existed. I said, excuse me, I'm known by tens of thousands of people here in Atlanta, up and down the East Coast, but really specifically, National Speakers Association, CEO Space, High Tech Ministries, and the people in the Philippines are begging me to come back. But I have to bring millions and billions of dollars of American money that I have recovered through DuncanClaim.org as a seed fund to build FutureCity.life. See, that's my whole lifetime focus, is working with God to solve every major problem in the world, which is food, energy, agriculture, water, housing, solutionbusiness.org. It's all about PeaceSummit2025.com town hall forums. We're the only group that hosts Mediate all world leaders to stop waging war and to stabilize our economy using kbitcoins.org. Single international currency that's really just credits and debits. I call it K-credits, K-debits. Gets rid of bitcoins, foreign exchange. It gets rid of day traders. Like one of my old friends was Philip. Oh, his name was Philip. What was his last name? I almost forgot it. Scott Phillips. Scott Phillips was into day trading with his son, Scott Jr. And all these people denied that I ever existed. And yet I'm the wealthiest person in the world. So I guess I'll have to go offline again, because people are getting beyond lunatic crazy like my current roommate. God, he threatens me. The sink has some dirt in it. Oh my God, the end of the world is occurring. Gets worse. Your world gets worse, which is why we talk about end times and spiritual warfare, which is why I'm moving $40 billion company up to Asheville, North Carolina. In fact, I can move it anywhere in the world because I own it. I procreated it as creatorkeith.com, which is registered, now fortune1.org. Never happens again. If someone violates your rights, Article 3 of this one publication, and there's our news group. It's now usnews1.org, and that describes on the back panel exactly what this is. And the big one is the PeaceSummit2020.com. At one time, will we the people decide to live as peacemaking, problem-solving. This document implicates everyone, including Ross Grisham of Canton on Norfolk, Virginia 411 CR 112. This implicates the public pretender Phoenix Harris forever. 1171 was dismissed July 15th.